Olá, bem-vindos a mais um episódio do Summit Cidades Podcasts. Hoje estamos em um local diferente, estamos dentro do Summit. Aqui atrás a gente tem a plenária principal, está tendo muitas palestras, um conteúdo impressionante, são mais de 500 palestrantes, mais de 300 palestras nesses 3 dias. E hoje eu tenho a oportunidade de estar aqui com um grande amigo meu de muito tempo, o PABLO Salas. Ele é cientista climático do Banco Mundial, tem uma longa experiência com pesquisa, com a ciência, com projetos internacionais voltados às mudanças climáticas e vai contar um pouquinho pra gente do que ele achou do evento. Pablo, how is for you to be here with us again, the second year?
It's always, the answer is the same. It's fantastic. It's always great to be here in Florianopolis, not only because it's a beautiful place, you have wonderful geography, wonderful food, wonderful people, but also because these things are happening. A lot of really interesting stuff. So it's great to be part of it.
Thank you. And for you, how is the importance to talk about climate change in cities?
I think it's super important. The sense is, if you think on the big challenges we have as humanity for this decade, it's going to be climate change, one of those that are going to be at the very top. So in that sense, we need to get things right. A lot of progress has happened in many ways, but we are still far away from where we should be. Therefore, we cannot stop now. We need to keep going and then try to get better at it, so understand better which kind of climate solutions we can provide at the city level, at the country level, and at the global level.
Okay, that's amazing. And in your experience, especially now in World Bank, if you compare with Brazil, we are really distant from the other countries?
It's interesting that you asked that because the panelists asked me something a similar question. And I would say Brazil is a country that does several things well, but there are some pending areas, right? So on the one side, if you look, for example, on the Brazilian energy sector, just to put you one example, right? For the size of Brazil, this is one of the very few big countries that has a green energy sector. You have a lot of small countries with green energy sectors, but from the large ones, very few. Brazil is one of those, right? However, when you look at that green energy sector, you see a lot of hydropower there that will be affected by climate change. So therefore, it needs to increase the amount of alternative renewable energies, solar energy, wind energy, and the opportunity is there, but Brazil still needs to go for it. And I think that kind of represents Brazil in many areas of sustainability, in which you have a very strong progress on some areas, but you still need to jump the gap or bridge the gap in order to really be where you want to be.
And for you, what is the big challenge for make a city more sustainable?
At the city level, so let me start kind of at the country level. Definitely, one of the biggest challenges you have is on deforestation, right? Which of course is not only a Brazilian challenge, but it's a global challenge. But now if you go at the city level, the aspect of climate resilience is key, I would say. The cities as they are constructed, they were built for a different reality, different weather, different temperature, different amount of rain that's happening, right? So therefore we need to adapt our cities. Now, funding or financing is always very limited. Therefore, we need to do this in a smart way. And I would say a key partner there is the private sector. If just the government want to do it by themselves, they will not be able to do it. So it's very important to work with companies in order to create the right opportunities for them to become more sustainable and for them to support more sustainable cities.
Okay. And is the best opportunity for you?
For me as a personal level? No.
Yeah, in your personal, you talk about climate change and cities, it's so many opportunities for
you mean me as a citizen? Or
yeah.
Oh, yes. Well, yeah, definitely each of us have a role to play, right? So Brazil is a country that has plenty of water. Therefore, water sustainability or water availability here in Brazil is not really a big issue, but you still have a problem of inefficiency. The water use here is extremely inefficient, so you can get better on that. But on the other energy, I would say there is probably a low-hanging fruit, which is more important at the moment. That you need to be more efficient at the individual level. So we need to be more efficient in terms of use, not only about electricity, but for example, use of energy in transport sector, right? Use on heating and cooling for cities, for housing. So there are a lot of things that we can do. And here's the important bit is we don't need to change our quality of life. We need to change the way we live in, which is different. We don't need to sacrifice our standard of living, but we just need to do things differently. Thank you for the invite and thank you for the great work you are doing here.